Hey KITT, tell me a joke.
I stopped for gas the other day and the service was so slow, by the time they filled me up, my upholstery was out of style.
Welcome to part 2 of our gas pump display cases. Now, we built them and now we're going to make them look even better. We're going to theme them. So I got to paint this guy, I'm going to put some deckling on him, and we may even put some electronics in him. So this is going to be quite the project because we're going to theme this cabinet in Knight Rider. My good friend Kevin has a Knight Rider car. It's a replica car, and it looks just like the Knight Rider car from the TV series Knight Rider. So what's really cool is because it's a car theme, which the gas pump goes with really, really well, we can elaborate on that and turn this into a Knight Rider piece. So keep watching and you're gonna see how this is gonna unfold. Okay, so the first thing I want to do on our gas pump here is I want to actually router in kind of a area for this bad boy here. I'm going to bring this up closer so you can see it. Now what this is, if you are familiar with Knight Rider had on the front of the car was a little scanner, and it was a light that went back and forth and back and forth. So anyways, I found this guy online, and it is actually for a computer. So you can see the size of it because I wanted something relatively small so it fit in the gas pump. Okay, one of the first things I wanted to do here is I got the globe off the gas pump and I wanted to put our decal on it right away because I want to make sure it's going to look good and it's going to match everything color wise and whatnot. So I haven't painted anything yet. So I'm going to show you guys some of the decals that I got. We got this one here. This is going to go on the globe, and this is printed on clear. So when we take this off and we put it on, all this lettering and all this outlining of the car and the red is, I'm hoping it's going to pop when I do it. So we'll find out today. But that's the idea. So this is going to be peeled off right on top of our light, and then when it lights up it should illuminate quite nicely. And the other decals I got this Knight Rider one for the bottom kick plate, so we'll see how that one turns out. And then I got these ones as well. These are like contains lead, kind of looks like something you'd see on the side of a gas pump for warnings and whatnot. And then the last ones I got are these chest piece, Knight chest piece ones, and this is kind of the logo to the Knight Industry 2000. Okay, so those are gonna go on the cabinet at a later time once it's painted, but today we're just going to do this. So let's place this on here and see how it looks.
What does it look like on? Whoa. Cool, man. Cool, baby.
All right, our gas pumps are now all set. We routed out the front. We got it ready for the lighting and all the electronics that we're going to need to install. And this is one of my favorite parts of the whole project. We get to paint it. So let's put some color to it. right, we are all done painting and I'm really happy with the color match. Everything looks really, really good. So the next step now is to assemble our gas pump. So let's get started on doing that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is our base plate. This is where the gas pump's going to sit on. So I cut it out on the CNC and I routed the edges so that it looks a little bit more like the gas pump base. And I layered it in 2 pieces, so it gives it that kind of raised look. You can kind of see it there. So what I want to do first is I want to put these little legs on, and these little legs will keep it up off the floor a little bit, and it'll help protect it, and it won't get so chipped and banged up with these little legs. So it's not too hard to put them on. They're kind of a little rubber system, and I'm just going to place them accordingly, and I'm going to just drill a little bit of a hole first, not to go too deep, and then I'm just going to start it. There we go. Now we have a couple little feet there, and it's best to do it now, because once you put everything on there, you're not going to want to flip this on its back and do it. You can, but it's just easier to do it now. All right, so I set this down on our base plate, the whole tower section, and I don't want to screw it or install it to the bottom just yet. Reason being is I want to make sure it's centered on there. So I want to put my 2 sides on so I can get the full width of it, and I can center it accordingly. It'll just make it easier. Oops. I dropped my screw. So we got our sides on, and now that I know where our dimensions need to be, we can center it really nicely on our base plate. So what I want to do first before I screw it down, because it has a tendency of moving, especially with this paint, it's actually kind of slippery, is I want to nail it in just to hold it. If your nailer can fit in there, whoop. I don't know if I can fit in there. There we go. Just give it a couple nails, and then that'll hold it from moving around on you. And then one thing I do have that's really handy is one of these angle drills, because it's hard to get in there otherwise. And these work really good, surprisingly. I was really shocked. And then what you can do too is once we get everything assembled, we'll flip it upside down, and then we put some longer screws in it. These are about 1.1 or so, just so that it bites in good and holds it from slipping and moving around. They probably would be enough too. You probably wouldn't need to go in from underneath. All right, so now the next step is we're going to install our inside panels. And I might have mentioned this to you guys before, but I'll say it again. I love to do it like this because you don't need to tape anything off. You don't need to respray the inside. It's very simple just to spray something that, this is about 1/8 inch thick. It costs a little bit more, but it's well worth it for the extra material. You cut all your panels on the inside prior to paint, and then you paint them, and then you can change the inside at any time. Say you want to change the theme of this, say you just want to freshen the color up. You just pull everything apart, take this out, spray it, put it back in, and it's good to go again. And then you don't get any overspray on your cabinet, and you don't get that rough overspray finish on the inside. So I try to do everything like this if I can, and it just has a really nicer look to it, and it's a lot simpler. And I'm not even going to glue it or screw this in. I'm just going to lay it down, and because I cut it almost to the same size, all our parts and pieces will go on top, and it's not going to move. And then we can always take it out if we need to. Without, if we glue it, we can't take it out again. So here's our inside panel. I've pre-drilled the holes just to make it easier to screw it in on this stage. So this is a little tricky because we have to go in on an angle, and I don't want to scratch the paint. There we go. I know I had issues with this before putting it in. And it makes it harder because you don't want to scratch anything. There we go. But it does go in. It came out, so it's got to go in. And I don't want to push it against the painted piece, so I'm just going to lift it up. And there we go. Okay. I'm going to let this come down to me. There we go. Now we can put our side pieces in. We'll put the rest of the screws in, then we'll put our side pieces in. Okay, now I got my globe. I put my glass in my globe. And now we're gonna put it on the top of our cabinet. This is almost like the star on the Christmas tree, eh? There we go. And there we go. Ta-da! Knight Rider. Cool. We got a lot of the pump completed already, but what we wanted to add, and I kind of showed a little bit of this earlier, and this is the scanner to KITT, and we're adding one more little treat into the pump, and we're going to make it talk. Now, I got my good friend Braeden Pelletier here, and he is my tech guy. And he has done web design, he has done app design, and now he's working on this, which is a mini computer which is going to power up and it's going to make the thing talk. So it's going to sound like KITT. You can interact with it, you can ask it questions, and it'll repeat the questions that you ask it, certain phrases and whatnot. So there's quite a lot involved here, and it is a very small little processor, but it has a lot of power and a lot of capabilities. And we had to buy this would be a speaker?
That's a mic,
okay.
A mic array. It allows for multi-directional voice input from all directions. So you can hear it like you would hear Google Home.
Cool, cool. So we had to have the mic, and then we had to give it a power supply, correct? Mm-hmm. And then we put a speaker into this so that so you can hear it. And this is the speaker system that we have right here. And this is a very common style speaker, correct? This is,
yeah.
Okay, so like you could get this from like
the Source or even 7-Eleven.
Oh wow.
They're pretty cheap.
That's cool.
And it is not a Google Home, even though it looks like one.
First I want to show the scanner light. Now, anyone that is into Knight Rider knows what this is. And in the front of the car, it had this red light that drifted back and forth, and it was kind of his eye or scanner, and it would like a radar almost. So we're going to plug that in, and there we go. And there it goes. And it's really cool because what I like about it is that there's a bright light always in the center, and it looks like there's a little fishtail that goes back and forth just like on the show. Now, we got this from Jupiter Electronics, and this is actually fitted for a computer tower, right?
Yeah, for the front of it.
Yeah, so because it plugs into the computer, and this is supposed to go while the computer's thinking and when you're loading stuff and whatnot, this light goes to indicate that it's processing. So, but we didn't want that. We wanted actually to be able to plug it in so that we can just use it like just a light. And what did we have to do with that, Bray, to get this all working the way it is?
So we had to email those guys at Jupiter Electronics, and they responded so quick. They're great. But they told us that in order to power it, either we could solder on a bypass chip for 5 volt, or we could just take apart a 12 volt AC to DC adapter and just plug it into the positive and negative terminals on the actual light itself.
On the back here.
And then it runs without flaw.
It actually works, yeah, works really, really well. I like it just as a light. So that's really neat. And then this can be plugged in, and then we plug our cabinet in, and it's just like KITT got evolved into a gas pump. Cool. Okay, so now that we got the light going, I'm just gonna unplug it for a little while here because we don't need it on. Let's play with his voice. Let's get his brain working here. So I'll leave you plug it in.
Sure. We just need to plug in the aux from the speaker to the computer.
Do we need a USB plug?
Not for the sound. The sound is just the aux.
Gotcha.
And then if we want to charge the speaker, because it's going to be pretty much on all the time, not really turning off, so we can have it charging either from the Raspberry Pi, or I think you have USB ports.
There's USB inside the cabinet, so it's on a power bar. So I got all hooked up there. So yeah, that's great.
And then one quirk with it, one prerequisite, is you have to turn on the speaker and make sure it's on auxiliary mode first, which we kind of thought about having it a speaker and an amp connected to it.
Yeah, you could go that next stage, I guess, and have it all built in, and you wouldn't have to have this. But for today, just to show how this is working, we're going to use the speaker system, and then we can hear it.
And then plug in the power port, USB-C, to the Raspberry Pi.
Small little connection.
And then it's ready for you to plug in.
Okay, so we're going to power up KITT. Are you guys ready? Here's KITT's brain. Takes a few seconds here.
45.
45 to be exact. We're going with 45.
One eternity later.
It doesn't seem like it's long, but when you're waiting for anything, 45 seconds. Oh, there it goes.
I am the voice of Night Industry 2000's microprocessor, k.i.t.t for easy reference, a KITT if you prefer.
That sounds like him. That sounds like him.
And then you can turn up the volume if you like.
Okay, we can crank up KITT's voice. Okay, so we can ask KITT something. So go ahead, Bray. You ask him a question first.
Hey, KITT, tell me a joke.
Can a Rolls Royce do computer scans?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Do another one.
Hey, KITT, you are useless.
Oh.
You must be joking.
Hey, KITT, how are you?
Sometimes you need to pause.
He doesn't like me very much.
Hey, KITT, how are you?
As a machine, I believe I'm quite fortunate not to have your human dependency upon oxygen for survival.
I think he knows his creator, and I think this is the next Michael Knight, perhaps, because he doesn't seem to want to work for it. I'm going to try it again. Hey, KITT, tell me a joke.
I stopped for gas the other day and the service was so slow, by the time they filled me up, my upholstery was out of style.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's great. I love the joke. It's really, really good. Yeah, so this is a remarkable little thing. Look, like it's very small, so we can mount this inside the cabinet really, really well. This is really, really cool, and this is going to add so much to this cabinet because the car talks, the cabinet's going to talk, it's going to have the scanner. It's just like it got reincarnated. I just hope they didn't crush KITT and use him for some scrap metal and make a pump out of him. So, but anyways, no, this is great. You did a great job on this, Braeden. I really, really love it. This is going to add so much to this cabinet. And again, I want to tell everyone this is Braeden's part of my channel, and he is part of the team. He did a website for me, so I want you guys to check that out as well. It is themeit.ca, and it's got more builds on there. It's got a link to my YouTube channel and a whole bunch of really cool things, so check it out. And yeah, so we're gonna try and get this inside the pump now that we've gone through all the internal stuff. So well, thanks, Bud, for showing us everything here. Is there anything else we need to know? Anything else we need to add?
So we will include a GitHub link for all the code of this that's used in the links. Perfect. And we'll also link the Jupiter Electronics light.
Excellent. So if anyone wants to try this themselves, they know where to go. And if you have a few questions or something, Braeden said he can answer them. So just get a hold of us through the YouTube or the website.
Yeah, you can comment down or even through GitHub. I'll have links to my stuff too if you need to personally message, or even on the website. There's a contact form on there that you can use.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so let's get this inside KITT and let's get him talking some more.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Okay, we got this all finished up and I'm really excited about how it looks. Thanks, Bray, for doing all the electronics to it. Absolutely. And getting KITT talking and get his scanner working. Yeah, we're going to hear from KITT one more time. Hey, KITT, tell me a joke.
Can a Rolls Royce do computer scans?
He's still pretty witty. No, this is so cool. Very nice. I'm happy with KITT as a gas pump as well as a car.
Turned out really good.
Yeah. So And again, thanks again, Bray. And if you guys want to know more about it, just contact us, and Braeden can fill you in on a lot more of the electronics part of it, because that's kind of his expertise with it. Cool. Well, thanks again, bud.
Thank you. Like and subscribe. You don't want to miss an episode. Do it. Do it now.
Team mission, like and subscribe. You don't want to miss an episode. Do it now.
Kev, what do you think of the cabinet?
I was blown away when you brought this to me. I just never expected it to look this amazing.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're happy with it. I was really happy to build it. We had some really cool features on the cabinet, which really got me excited to build it. And being Kev such a Knight Rider fan, this fits in perfectly with his collection. So yeah, well, I'm glad you love it, Kev. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So thanks, guys. Join me on Theme It for the next video. And remember, don't just build it, theme it. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.